You were taught how to be you, but is it really you? Think of the way you make important decisions. In buying a mobile phone, most people simply don't walk into the store and choose one. They watch YouTube reviews, they compare specs, they read hundreds of opinions, they ask friends, they search for recommendations. And choosing a college, any consult parents, teachers, career consultants, alumni, ranking, online reviews. When considering marriage, families may consult elders, relatives, compatibility system, other matching process. When facing difficult decisions, the natural instinct is to often look outside ourselves. An elder, a mentor, an expert, a teacher, a book, tradition. Someone who has experienced something similar. This is enormous value in it. Human knowledge exists because generations learn from generations. We don't need to personally rediscover everything humanity has already discovered. But something subtle can happen when looking outside becomes a permanent habit. Our originality becomes less expressed. We become very good at knowing what others think while becoming less familiar with what we experienced. So, this leads to a fascinating question. You were taught how to be you, but is it really you? Think about your beliefs, think about your definition of success, your idea of happiness, your understanding of relationships, your idea of who you are. How much of it comes from direct experience, and how much came from somebody else? So, there's a simple experience that can reveal the difference. It involves something ordinary, a lemon. The difference between hearing about the sourness of lemon and actually tasting it may reveal something profound about the way we live our entire life. And by the end of this episode, you will have a simple question you can apply almost any belief you carry. From the moment we are born, learning happens through others. Language comes from others. Cultures, others. Values are introduced by others. Knowledge is transferred to others. A child doesn't independently discover the entire world. A child asks, adults answer. A child observes, adults explain. The child imitates. Eventually, these explanations become internal knowledge. This is essential. Without learning from others, human development is extraordinarily limited. Imagine having personally discovered how electricity works from using a light. Imagine having to personally discover every medical principle before visiting a doctor. Imagine having to personally test every engineering principle before entering a building. Knowledge saves enormous amount of time, so the issue is in learning from others. The deeper issue is what happens after learning. Information can remain information, or information can quietly become belief, and belief can eventually become identity. And that is where the question of being yourself comes in. Imagine someone who has never tasted a lemon. Another person explains lemon is sour. The person now has a knowledge about lemon. Perhaps they read about it, perhaps they watch videos about it, perhaps they hear the sound of people describe the taste. The description can become extremely detailed. Chemistry can be studied. nutritional property can be understood. The history of lemon can be researched. Yet one thing remains missing: the actual taste. And one day, the lemon is cut open, piece is taken, and the person tastes it. Suddenly, the word sour has a completely different meaning. The knowledge didn't become useless, it's become connected to the experience. This distinction matters. Listening to someone describe the sourness of lemon is knowledge. Taking a bite, experiencing the sourness is direct experience. One is received, the other is lived. Or take the same distinction into your identity. Imagine a person wearing a suit, but this is an unusual suit. Every part of it is made from labels. One label says success means this, another says success means that, failure means this, another says a good person behaves this way, another says this is what happiness looks like, another says this is what successful career looks like, another says this is what the family expects, another says this is what society expects. And somewhere underneath all of them is a very large label. This is who I am. Over the years, more labels are added. Education adds some, family adds some, culture adds some, friends add some, religion may add some, career adds some, social media adds some, experience adds some. Eventually, the collection becomes so familiar that it feels completely natural. The person looks at the suit and assumes this is me. But perhaps some of it is simply what has been learned. That doesn't make it wrong. It simply makes it worth examining. Think about buying a mobile phone. You may watch 20 reviews, then 50, and perhaps 100. One reviewer praises the camera, another criticizes the battery, another praises the processor, another says the phone is overpriced. Eventually, you form an opinion. But notice something interesting. You may know about everything about the phone before ever holding it. Then you finally use it. The experience may be completely different from the review. Perhaps the phone feels perfect in your hand. Perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps the camera is exactly what you expected. Perhaps it doesn't. The reviews provided knowledge. Your own use provides experience. Both have values, but they are not the same. This distinction applies far beyond product that applies to life. Consider a belief such as success means earning a lot of money. That belief may be useful. It may be true for some. It may not be true for someone else. The important question becomes: what is my direct experience of success? Another belief: marriage is necessary for a fulfilled life. Again, the statement can be examined. Another: being successful means being constantly busy. Examine it. Another: people must always be confident. Examine it. Another: this is simply who I am. Examine it. Questioning doesn't require rejection, it creates a space for discovery. So there is a major difference between rebellion and awareness. Rebellion automatically moves away from what was given. Blind beliefs automatically moves towards what was given. Awareness pauses, observes, questions, experiences, and allows understanding to emerge. There's another important reality. Experiencing everything directly is impossible. No one can personally verify every scientific discovery. No one can personally experience every historic event. No one can personally test every medical treatment. No one can personally investigate every claim made about the world. Life requires knowledge from others. This is completely natural. There's a space between direct experience and blind beliefs. That space is not knowing. Suppose someone presents an idea that cannot currently be verified through your own experience. There's no requirement to immediately accept it. That is also not immediate requirement to reject it. A simple I don't know is enough. Not knowing is normal. Not knowing can be honest. Not knowing keeps curiosity alive. So the danger isn't not knowing, the danger is filling every gap in knowledge with someone else's certainty. So this brings us back to the phrase be yourself. Being yourself doesn't require leaving society, doesn't require abandoning your career, it doesn't require leaving your family, doesn't require moving to a cave, doesn't require escaping to mountain. You can remain completely engaged in life. You can work, lead, build, love, raise a family, participate in society, learn from others, use technology, seek expert advice, and still discover yourself. The difference is subtle. Instead of automatically converting everything you receive into belief, you begin examining your own experience. Instead of really asking, what should I believe? You begin asking, what am I actually experiencing? And when the answer isn't clear, you allow yourself not to know. That is where originality has to emerge. Perhaps being yourself isn't about creating unique personality. Perhaps it is about removing the distance between what you experience and what you believe about the experience. The world will continue giving you answers. That's not going to stop. The question is whether every answer automatically becomes yours. Today, take one belief about yourself, just one. Maybe it is about success, maybe it's about relationship, maybe it is about your career, maybe it is about your happiness, maybe it's about who you think you are. Then ask, where did this belief come from? And then have I experienced this daily? If the answer is yes, explore the experience. If the answer is no, there is no need to panic. There's no need to immediately reject the belief. There's also no need to blindly accept it. Simply allow yourself to say, I don't know yet. Because knowledge can describe the sourness of lemon, experience lets you taste. And perhaps being yourself begins when you begin willing to discover the difference. If this episode made you question something you have always assumed about yourself, share it with someone who may benefit from the same reflection. Subscribe for more conversations on awareness and witnessing. Remember, you don't have to leave the world to discover yourself. Live in the world, learn from the world, question what you experience, and discover yourself there. Until then, keep it.